Hey, good evening, everybody. Things are really starting to improve, but not in all areas at the same time. And there's still some things we're watching. I just looked at the discussion with the Weather Service office here in Huntsville. You know, they say that it would be easy to let go this winter weather advisory from Marshall County, parts of DeKalb County, and Coleman County and Morgan County, with the exception here that we're still watching this wedge, and we talked about it the past couple of days, and it's been in the 40s most of the day, upper 30s in DeKalb County, but we're still watching a stronger east wind that's going to make its way across Georgia overnight tonight and could lead to some freezing rain and icy roads very early tomorrow morning, mainly in Jackson and DeKalb County, and it could sneak into Marshall County too. We'll be talking about that specifically on the latest forecast guidance that just came out. And, it's usually we talk about it refreezing overnight, but it won't in most areas. That's the only exception. Things are improving even in the shoals right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at the temperatures. And this is kind of where it begins tonight. You're finally above freezing in Florence. It's 37 in Huntsville. I just drove in from the Monrovia Harvest area. Roads were just wet. One thing to keep in mind, it takes a little longer for these bridges and overpasses that have been frozen. They'll get a little slushy. So again, you need to take time out there. And then the roads across the far northwest corner of the state, those are the ones that have sleet on them. And it's like if you've ever had to defrost your freezer, you can take it out. I've got a little mini fridge. This is a perfect example. Even in the middle of summer, I'll take that mini fridge outside and put it in the sun, and it still takes about 45 minutes to an hour to loosen it up and even longer to melt it all. So it's just going to take time. I just recommend if you live in one of these areas in the northwest corner of the state, up close to the state line with Tennessee, and definitely in southern middle Tennessee, you just stay home for the rest of the night. There's not much left to the night anyway, right? Tomorrow morning shouldn't be too bad. If you're going to get ready to go to church, some churches have closed, but if you're going to be going to church, maybe just wet in most areas. And this is not, did you have it on max 2? Yeah, that's probably what it is. So I'm going to flip it over here. Sometimes it doesn't reach back here. There it is, the magic button. But this is what's coming our way, and this is what's reinforcing that wedge of colder air. You notice up there in Cleveland, it's 9 single digits. Minneapolis, it's 6 below zero. And these are areas up across the upper Midwest that have been dealing with wind chill factors at 50 below zero. So that's incredibly cold. We'll see wind chill factors probably 0 and maybe down to 5 below zero Monday morning if the wind does come up. And that's one of the reasons some of these schools are closing for the day. That, and we're under this from the governor, the state of emergency, and I'm not sure when that expires, but I think it may be all the way through this event, including the cold air. But you could clearly see the transition in green. Everything's changing over to rain. There's still some areas west of Russellville, and do we know if the power outage is still going on in Franklin County? Okay, and I think it's southern parts of Franklin County in Alabama, because we serve occasionally Winchester, Franklin County, Tennessee. They're served by, I believe it's Alabama Power, so their power's still on. It's the TVA side. We're not sure what exactly happened, but it's a widespread power outage. Some of you may be getting the latest information right here on social media and our digital app and our YouTube channel. By the way, we've got a YouTube channel here at 48. Go ahead and subscribe to that. We're getting more information. So we're trying to make it to where you can watch whatever device you like to watch. Some of you are probably watching some basketball right now and on your phone watching us as well, and we appreciate that. But as far as going down the road here, we're going to go ahead and move forward here with the graphics. The rain's going to pick up overnight tonight and really become heavy at times, and we're really transitioning everywhere into this rain, but the only sneaky part is that easterly wind that may move in about 2 in the morning. So here are the current road temperatures. You saw some upper 20s in the northwest corner of the state, and that is built into this algorithm is the fact that there's still some sleet on those roads. They will improve. Notice road temperatures just about everywhere start to increase and get above freezing overnight tonight. The one exception, though, notice down to 29 and then 30 over there in Fort Payne. That would be if, and it's a big if right now. I'm giving it about a 30% chance of happening. That wedge kind of moves in there. So let's talk more roads down the road, so to speak, right? This is what's going to happen tomorrow afternoon around 4 o'clock. Notice they start to get colder. Now, the moisture's gone by then. We've got about a 2.5 to 3 hour window behind when it stops raining, but there's still the possibility we could get a wintry mix right behind this too, and that would make it more difficult for the roads to dry because they'd be colder faster. So we've got that window. So the wind's going to be strong, the air's going to be dry. So I don't think it's going to be a total ice skating rink everywhere, but there will be patches of black ice, and we just don't know. And that's why we urge you to keep tuning in for those updates there. Here's your Saturday night in about 15, 20 minutes from now. Again, this is all rain. We continue to warm up, 41 in Decatur, but notice the pink over there near Fort Payne. That is that wedge. And as we go forward, see how that kind of backs up just a little bit there into parts of DeKalb County and just a sliver there of Jackson County. And that's really right along the lake where you go up in elevation there, up on Sand Mountain and Lookout Mountain, that we'll look for that. So again, we'll watch that area. Notice some red shades starting to show up here. This is well before sunrise, around 3:45 a.m. Heavy rain. There's going to be gusty winds tonight too. Wind gusts, especially on Lookout Mountain, around 30 miles an hour, and that's not going to help. But again, the power grid should improve. At least the ice that's on the power lines over the northwest corner of the state should improve, because this is a warmer rain too. Because keep in mind, the air is actually a little warmer above the ground than it is at the surface. So this air is not cold air descending. It's actually fairly, it's probably around 40 degrees or so that'll help. But just a very sloppy start to the day, Sunday. Very heavy rain, some thunder, might even see some flash flooding, as we're expecting at least 2 inches of rain for the morning hours with this. Now, here's the noon hour. This is the latest forecast guidance. You're seeing it right now as I'm seeing it. And what we're watching is the back edge here. There's that very narrow window of some pink showing up, which would indicate a brief wintry mix. But that's gone. So this is actually good news here as I'm looking at it. Let me put my glasses on so I can see it better too. Some of you probably got yours on as well. But notice behind the rain here, it's still 41 in Scottsboro, 37 in Huntsville. So this is that window where the winds are out of the northwest at about 12, and they're going to be gusting to 20 to 25. Sure, it's going to be cold, but it's going to dry those roads pretty good. And by, I'd say, 5:30 in the evening. So we got this 2.5 hour window to dry those roads. And the humidity's so low. Again, a lot of you think about drying roads when it comes to NASCAR, and usually during a NASCAR race, after it rains, it's hard to dry the roads because the humidity's so high. We don't have to deal with the high humidity here. So here's our rainfall forecast. Numerous areas, at least 2 inches. Again, most of this happens early tomorrow morning into early tomorrow afternoon. And then behind this, we extended the first alert weather day into Monday, and that is because of this bitter cold that's coming in. Morning wind chill will be right around probably 7 degrees below zero in some spots. This is 10:30 tomorrow night, so a hard freeze. Once the temperatures drop below freezing, there's no coming back. It just stays cold, and it stays that way into Tuesday as well. Morning low of 11 Tuesday, 14 Monday, but 26 for the high. So pipe bursting weather. You want to think about your pets, your livestock, things like that as we go through this cold period. No records, though, so we don't have any record lows or record high temperatures, but record low maximum high temperatures, I should say. It'd be nice to have some record highs for a little bit, but usually that leads to severe weather. And by the way, they may have severe weather in South Alabama tomorrow, so if you got a student down there at Auburn, it's possible they'll go under a tornado watch for that possibility later in the day. Here's a look right now, though, at the next blast of cold air coming in. This will arrive Thursday into Friday, and right now, it looks dry, and we'll keep an eye on that. Appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Getting ready for that 10 o'clock newscast coming up, and we will be back tomorrow. Again, we'll have the rest of that forecast. We'll let you know those road conditions tomorrow morning and anything that happens overnight there up on Lookout Mountain. Appreciate you tuning in. You guys take care. Have a good night. Stay safe.